Aloha, and welcome to the Oahu Metropolitan Planning Organization's Project Management Training Program, Month 2. I'm Peter Kuntz, and I'm back to dive into federal aid programs. We'll cover project programming, coordination activities, and much more. We'll focus a bit on Local Public Agency Manual Chapter 3 and Project Development Manual Chapters 2 and 5. Before federal funding can be obligated, a funding agreement must be executed between the local public agency and the Hawaii DOT. This is important because the federal partners involved then know that the project meets the criteria for the specific program you're targeting for funding support. Federal aid transportation funds are authorized by Congress and apportioned to states, which allocate funds to LPAs on a reimbursable basis. These projects fit in a wide array of programs from the Federal Highway or Federal Transit Administration, designed to help match policies and efforts for improving transportation in our communities. We want you to consider the right funding program for your example project, and we'll have some time to refine the project concept from month 1 to today. There are several key requirements for eligibility for federal aid projects. One of the major ones is that projects must be listed in the Statewide Transportation Improvement Program, or STIP, that is federally recognized and sponsored by an eligible applicant. The project also needs to meet the local match requirements. In some cases, this can be 20% of the overall project cost, but it depends on the program. There are federal programs that have no federal match, but unfortunately, that is rare. In month 1, we talked about the transportation policies that guide the selection of projects in the STIP. Safety is a core goal that unites a lot of work happening in Hawaii, supported by state, regional, and local plans. Establishing and confirming transportation policies within the pre-design phase includes scope development, environmental constraints identification, and a preliminary cost estimate. It's important to pull those together to meet a project that can unite our work. The safety goal shows up in the Oahu MPO key work products. These products guide the project, so think about that as a part of your effort with your individual projects. We start with the regional transportation plan that establishes the vision and goals for the region. It offers a 20-year planning horizon with a list of projects and programs that is updated every 5 years. Starting with your regional transportation plan is a good way to identify how your project will relate to these transportation improvement programs. As we learned last month, the RTP fuels the Transportation Improvement Program, or TIP, which covers a 4-year timeline. This TIP is developed every 3 years to be consistent with the RTP and can be amended twice annually. That is not to say that the TIP is one single document. Transportation improvement programs may have separate multimodal plans, and these may be in slight conflict with one another between the modes. So that needs to be sorted out as a part of the project development process. It's important to complete early coordination with agencies like the State Historic Preservation Division, or SHPD, utility companies, and others during the pre-design phase to avoid delays in the projects down the line. The pre-design phase includes the development of project scope and initial coordination with HDOT and Federal Highway Administration. We saw in the field trip how quickly a project can go from HDOT guide to project implementation. The concepts that are in the various state resources provide a lot of good ideas that can meet the needs of your community. Once you've completed a project program request, or PPR, your local agency can begin reimbursable work on the project. From guides to plans to practice is what we want you to take away as a result of going through this course. The federal aid classification of a road matters to determine what funding sources may be available. Again, before you get into the coordination phase, all relevant environmental, utility, and right-of-way issues should be resolved before proceeding into the design phase. Some projects are within the right-of-way, which may make implementation easier. The LPA manual has checklists, templates, and other information to provide guidance through the various project phases. Road classifications may guide which program is most appropriate. Minor arterials, for instance, could be more mobility focused and could lead to congestion mitigation. There are too many programs to list, but we'll try to cover the main ones. This, of course, will just scratch the surface on the federal funding programs available. Consider this an introduction and not the last class you'll take on this topic. Each different program has different requirements, and as we heard in the first month, planning partners are very useful in discussing the right funding source. Matching your project to the right funding source is an important step to consider for your team. If you're building a new bike lane, you can consider multiple sources. The Transportation Alternatives Program, or TAP, has been used successfully for various multimodal efforts and may also be supported under Highway Safety Improvement Program resources, such as applying proven safety countermeasures that are acknowledged by the Federal Highway Administration. We're going to get into case studies, and in the past, we learned about the Lihue Town Core Mobility Plan that used both TAP and CMAQ money. It was ultimately awarded a competitive Tiger grant that was $15.1 million, and the overall budget was $17.8 million, with 2.7 non-federal funding. So 15% funding from local sources. A really nice way to extend the impact from an intersection treatment to broader streetscape changes that has greater benefit to the community. Remember, the project scope, cost, and schedule must align with federal requirements. That will also trigger an HDOT review. So don't forget about that. Submitting invoices to HDOT for reimbursement is a responsibility of the LPA during the project implementation process. This is a great example of using federal funds to advance safety and mobility. I hope you enjoyed the first month and you're looking forward to the second meeting of the PM training course. We'll cover a wide variety of materials, so do your read aheads, come with questions, and please reach out if you have any questions or concerns for our team. Mahalo.